She told me to get out, in front of her entire family. And when I defended myself, everyone at that table smirked like I had finally shown my true colors. 3 days later, she came home expecting the same obedient husband. Instead, she found the apartment stripped clean of everything I owned. And that was only the beginning. That if you've ever been publicly disrespected by someone who was supposed to protect you, hit like, subscribe, and stay with me. Because this husband-wife story transformation might hit closer to home than you expect. Now, let's begin. Thanksgiving at her mother's house was never about gratitude. It was about presentation, about posture, about appearing successful enough to deserve a seat at the table. The dining room always looked staged, polished with reflecting chandelier light, silverware aligned like soldiers awaiting inspection, candles spaced with mathematical precision. Even the napkins felt rehearsed. 3 years I had sat at that table. 3 years I told myself, endure it. Smile. Don't react. Be the bigger person. My wife, Lauren, would squeeze my knee under the table before dinner. Not affectionately, but like a silent warning. Just ignore her, she'd whisper. Her mother, Diane, believed success had a sound. It sounded like money. It sounded like status. It sounded like superiority. And I didn't make enough noise. I worked in network security, systems analysis, stable income, growth potential, quiet profession, respectable. But to Diane, if you weren't bragging, you were failing. That year felt different. The air was tighter, conversations thinner, like something had already been decided before I arrived. Lauren tapped her nails against her wine glass while her brothers debated football. Her Aunt Claire smiled at me kindly. Jason, her brother, avoided eye contact like always. Then Diane leaned forward, and everything shifted. Still working at that, what do you call it? Phone-up job. Her voice wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. It carried. I corrected her calmly. Again, network security systems analyst. She waved her hand dismissively. Right, one of those computer things. A pause. Then she sharpened. When Lauren told me she was marrying someone in tech, I assumed she meant someone important. A fork dropped. A cough. Silence expanding. Instead, Diane continued, swirling her wine. She brought home a man who fixes broken laptops. No ambition. No drive. The words didn't shout. They sliced. I felt heat rise on my neck, but my voice stayed level. I'm good at what I do. I support your daughter. We have a stable life. I looked around the table. I don't know what failure looks like to you, but from where I'm sitting, I'm doing fine. That was the moment. Lauren turned toward me slowly. Her eyes weren't supportive. They weren't apologetic. They were furious. Don't talk back to my mother, she hissed. Apologize. Apologize? For defending myself? I shook my head once. I'm not apologizing for correcting misinformation about my career. Chair leg scraped. Diane's lips thinned. Then came the command. Then get out. No hositashchen. No room for negotiation. Just exile. I waited. For Lauren to intervene. For her to say, Mom, stop. For her to choose me. Instead, she crossed her arms. You heard her. Leave. And in that moment, something inside me didn't break. It detached. The drive home was silent. No calls. No texts. No apology. Streetlights blurred past like countdown markers. 3 years of swallowing comments. 3 years of absorbing tension. 3 years of telling myself, it's not worth a fight. She's just like that. Lauren doesn't mean it. But she did mean it. She meant it enough to let her mother dismiss me. She meant it enough to dismiss me herself. When I stepped into our apartment, everything looked the same. Her shoes by the door. Her blanket on the couch. Her framed family photos on the shelf. But I wasn't the same. I didn't feel anger. I felt clarity. A strange, frightening calm. Ik heb het doorverbake. And I started packing. Not dramatically. Not emotionally. Efficiently. Shirts folded with precision. Laptop placed carefully. Documents organized. Passport secured. It didn't feel like escape. It felt like transition. By sunrise, I had a plan. By noon, I had photographed every room, every asset, every shared purchase. By evening, I was researching attorneys. And still, no call from my wife. 3 days passed. Her family texted, lectured, rewrote the story. Apparently, I had exploded. Apparently, I had embarrassed her. Apparently, I had shown my temper. Funny how defending yourself becomes aggression when you're not supposed to have a voice. Lauren? Nothing. Not until Sunday evening. 6 missed calls in 30 minutes. Then a text. I'm coming home. We need to talk. Not, I'm sorry. Not, I shouldn't have let that happen. Just, we need to talk. Like I was still waiting obediently. When she walked into the apartment and saw half my belongings gone, confusion hit first. Then panic. Where's your stuff? I moved out. You were supposed to stay so we could fix this. Adults don't humiliate their spouse publicly and expect normalcy afterward. Her tone softened suddenly. I overreacted. I looked at her. No, you revealed your priorities. When I said the word divorce, she blinked like she hadn't heard correctly. Divorce? Over one argument. It wasn't one argument, I said quietly. It was the moment I realized I'm alone in this marriage. The threats came quickly. My family has lawyers. You'll regret this. You're being dramatic. I nodded calmly. I'm not taking anything that isn't mine. When she realized I'd already separated finances legally, something in her shifted. Not sadness. Loss of control. She stormed out. And I didn't chase her. Attorney Robert Chandler didn't flinch at my story. You documented everything? He asked. Yes. Séparate finance légale. Yes. He leaned back. This will be straightforward. Straightforward. That word felt heavier than victory. It felt clean. When she was served at work, she accused me of humiliating her. I responded once. Would you have preferred Thanksgiving? Silence followed. They showed up together. Diane leading. Jason hesitant. Claire observant. You're breaking her heart, Diane snapped. You call me a failure in front of 12 people. I was being honest. No, I said evenly. You were being cruel. When she threatened to expose what kind of man I really was, I held eye contact. Tell whoever you want. I have nothing to hide. That was the first time she looked unsure. Not loud. Not powerful. Small. They left. And that night, I slept peacefully. Weeks passed. Settlement negotiations were calm. No war. No alimony. Fair division. When I signed a final document, Chandler smiled. One of the smoothest divorces I've handled. Smooth. Because I didn't fight emotionally. I prepared strategically. I moved into a small one-bedroom downtown. No tension in the walls. No judgment at the table. No performance required. Work improved. Confidence returned. Silence felt peaceful. Months later, Jason ran into me at a store. She's seeing someone. Good for her, I replied. He studied me. You're different. He was right. I wasn't smaller anymore that a year later, I met someone new. Dinner at her parents' house. Her mother joked lightly about my job. Before I could respond, my girlfriend squeezed my hand. Mom, he's excellent at what he does. If you can't respect that, we're leaving. Her mother apologized immediately. And in that moment, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Protection, partnership, respect. Nobody disrespects you, she whispered. Not even family. I believed her. Looking back, everything changed the moment Lauren told me to get out. She expected me to crawl back, to apologize, to shrink. Instead, I walked forward. And sometimes the quietest decision a person makes becomes the loudest turning point of their life. Marriage isn't about winning arguments. It's about standing beside each other when the room turns hostile. And if someone won't stand beside you, you stand up for yourself. If this story resonated with you, hit like and tell me in the comments. What would you have done at that Thanksgiving table? And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful husband-wife story transformations. Your support means more than you know.